Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into some really powerful life lessons from one of nature's most incredible creatures. See, inspired by the teachings of Dr. Miles Monroe, we're going to explore 7 principles of the eagle that can help you unleash your own amazing potential. So let's just start with an idea that might make you stop and think for a second. When you think of the wealthiest place on Earth, you're probably thinking of diamond mines in Africa or oil fields in the Middle East, right? But according to Dr. Monroe, the greatest treasure was actually way closer to home. It's in your local cemetery. And here's the thing. This wealth we're talking about, it isn't gold or cash. It's untapped human potential. It's all the incredible books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the businesses that were never started because someone was too afraid or just never got around to it. So the goal for all of us then is to die empty, to live a life so full that we don't add to that treasure in the ground. Okay, so how do we avoid adding our own dreams to that graveyard? Well, it all starts with learning to see the eagle that's inside of you, even when other people, or maybe even you, only see a piece of junk wood. Let me tell you this quick story about an old wood carver that just nails this point perfectly. So the story goes, there's this plantation owner, and he's chopping up a tree, throwing all the logs on a big heap to be burned. Just junk, right? But then an old wood carver happens to walk by, and he asks the owner if he could just have one piece of that junk wood. See, where the owner saw worthless firewood, the carver saw a masterpiece just waiting to be set free. And that's the whole point. Just like that piece of wood, you have a powerful, magnificent eagle trapped inside of you. Other people might not see it. Heck, you might not even fully see it yourself sometimes. But it is there. So let's get into the principles that are going to help you set it free. All right, let's jump right into our first 2 principles. And these are all about your perspective and, just as important, the company you keep. Think about it. You see pigeons and sparrows flocking together all the time, right? But you never see eagles in a group. They soar solo. When you have a big vision, it can feel lonely because you're just built to operate on a different level. It means you have to be willing to leave the crowd behind, even when it's tough, because you know you're made for a higher altitude. An eagle's vision is absolutely legendary, and for good reason. From miles up in the air, it can lock onto its target and just dive, never losing focus, no matter the wind, the rain, or anything else going on around it. If you want to be successful, you have to have that same kind of laser focus. You've got to identify your goal, lock in, and refuse to let the 1,000 little distractions that pop up every single day pull you off course. Okay, next up, let's talk about 2 crucial things. What are you feeding your mind, and how do you figure out who to trust on your journey? Now, this principle is such a powerful metaphor for what you could call your information diet. Eagles hunt for fresh, living food. Vultures, on the other hand, just scavenge for dead things. So to keep your vision alive and well, you have to feed it fresh, positive information every single day. New books, new ideas, new skills. And that means you got to cut out the junk food, the endless scrolling, the negative gossip, and all those voices that tell you it can't be done. And this next one, wow, it is such a brilliant lesson in why you can't just hand out your trust to anyone. Eagles have this very specific, very intense way of testing a potential partner's commitment. And it teaches us so much about not wasting our energy on people who aren't all in. So get this. She flies way up, drops a twig, and the male has to dive and catch it before it hits the ground. But it's not a one-and-done deal. She does it again and again, flying higher each time, making the test harder. It's a serious test of his dedication. And the lesson for us is huge. Your time, your energy, and your trust are incredibly valuable. Before you commit all of that to someone, make sure they're willing to prove they're committed to the vision with you. All right, so what do you do when challenges pop up? When the storms of life start rolling in? Well, the eagle's approach is totally different from pretty much every other bird out there. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. When those dark storm clouds start to gather, most birds panic. They run for cover, they hide, but the eagle, it does the exact opposite. It turns and flies directly toward the storm. But here's the secret, the thing the eagle understands. It knows that the powerful winds that scare all the other birds are the very same winds that can lift it higher than it could go on its own. It uses the challenge to rise above the chaos. So what this means is that your challenges, that tough project, that personal setback, they aren't there to destroy you. They're actually an opportunity to lift you to a whole new level. We've all heard that real growth never happens inside our comfort zone. We know it's true, but man, we fight it, don't we? The eagle understands this instinctively. It knows that for real growth to happen, sometimes you need a little push, or well, a really big one. The mother eagle starts to make the nest a really uncomfortable place to be. She systematically pulls out all the soft grass and cotton lining until all that's left are the sharp, painful thorns she put at the very bottom. The nest literally becomes so painful to stay in that flying becomes the only real option. Just think about that. Sometimes the pain in your life, that uncomfortable situation, it isn't a punishment. It's a message. It's the universe telling you, it's time to spread your wings. It's time to fly. And now we've arrived at our final principle. This one is all about renewal. So what happens when an eagle gets old? Its feathers heavy, its strength starting to fade. It doesn't just give up. It goes through this incredible, painful, but powerful process of renewal. I mean, just think about how profound this is. When you feel tired, burnt out, or like your vision is getting stale, you have to find your own mountaintop. You have to find a quiet place to intentionally shed the things that are weighing you down. The old habits, the past failures, the limiting beliefs, to make room for new strength, new courage, and a new vision. And this ancient wisdom, it just captures the results of that process perfectly, doesn't it? It's not just about surviving or getting by. It's about emerging renewed, re-energized, and stronger than you were before, totally ready to soar to new heights. So after exploring all 7 of these principles, from flying alone to using storms to soar, there's really only one question left. And it's not for me to answer. It's for you. You were born with an eagle inside of you. You have the wings. The only thing left to decide is, are you finally ready to use them?